If you ask me, I have a different take on the whole thing. As an architect and urban designer, I think that this city has hit a point, which is India actually, Indian cities have hit a point where we have urban amnesia. We've forgotten what our cities should look like. When in my childhood, this was one of the most beautiful cities I've ever seen in the world. And we've forgotten completely. So I really want to talk to you today about an alternative view as to how we can approach this problem and give you some tools maybe. I'll unpack it a little bit and give you some tools to find out how you should think about your city in the future. So I'm going to call this talk Past Forward because we forget what we have come through, and we're an old country. The memory of Bangalore today in most people's head is only about 20 years or 30 years. They think it's roughly started the same time as the IT boom. And people don't know that this year, I don't know whether anybody in the audience knows, but do you know how old Bangalore is today, this year? It's 477 years old. It was begun in 1537, and we have forgotten, right? Everybody thinks it started in 1990. So what is really urban experience? Urban experience is a combination of time, it's a combination of your memory, and it's a combination of your imagination. And what is that? It's what you touch, what you breathe, what you feel, what you eat, what you see, and how you think about the future from your point of view, and how does that align with other people's point of view. So I'm going to take you through some quick slides. I'm going to speed up a little bit and quickly show you how Bangalore looked in the past. Can anybody recognize that? It's a view from St. John's Church in Coxtown. Looking at this is the Bangalore cantonment. The photograph is taken in 1910 by a missionary, and it had this beautiful bungalow character. You can see the steeple of the St. Xavier's Cathedral on one side, St. John's Church on the other side, and it looked like it was an astonishingly beautifully well laid out place. And this was a school which still exists, and this was all integrated. The residential areas were integrated with the schools. There were markets. There are 127 markets in Bangalore. Very few people know that. Everybody goes to the mall these days, but there are markets in Bangalore. And this is how Lal Bagh looked. If I just put color on that image and change the people around wearing cooler clothes, do you think you can think that this could be a modern city? This photograph is 1910 in Bangalore. Look at that. Can anybody recognize that? That's Brigade Road in 1990. Not very long ago. This was all the traffic we had. The footpaths were wide enough. And all the young guys used to go and hang out there and act cool and all that. But now you just rush past. Right? There's nothing much to do. Look at that. That is MG Road in 1930, 1940. And you can still see that shop is still there. The Vale and Company is still existing. And Mr. Popat Jamal is still selling glassware in the store next door. But it's replaced by some ugly looking simulacrum of this building. And it's not that, we were all old-fashioned and stodgy and, you guys have all the pubs and the cool places to go to. These guys were racing Lambertas on Jakkur Airfield. This is 1975. And you know who the guy on the right is? And the guys on the right and left is actually, one of them is still alive. He is the owner of Safina Plaza. Haji Abdul Sattar Seth is the left, and that guy is Fred Webb, who used to own Webb's Garage. So these guys were they were having races in 1970 on the Jakkur airfield using Lambertas. Can anybody recognize that? This is an extraordinarily significant picture for Bangalore. Can anybody recognize that in the audience? Can anybody think loudly? Exactly. It's the scene of KR Market before the flyover came over. And this picture is particularly significant because of, you see that electric pole without any lights in the middle of the picture? To the right of the picture, which looks like it's going to be taken down. That electric pole is the first electric light in Asia. Can you believe it? And they broke it. And the first place in any city in Asia in 1906 when an electric light came on, it came on there. And the pole doesn't even exist anymore. So I think Indians have got too much history. We are sick of it. We just want to keep looking at we don't care too much, like some old stuff and all that. So I don't know whether that's a good thing, because what we are doing is, by disregarding our past, and we are now going to screw up our future. This is Bangalore, tree line, Malleshwaram roads, not just monuments. It's 1990, it's Brigade Road. Unbelievable. And we are talking about widening roads. We are saying that, nobody knows how to do it, the ditches are broken, etc., etc. But what was wrong with this? This was perfectly all right, in my opinion. No brands though. You can't see any fancy brands. Can you see that all this has become something like Lee Sport or something like that? Just the brands have changed, but that's about it. This is Kantirava Stadium. Can you believe it? This was a beautiful lake there, and there's a garden, and there's a school, and that behind that is Kavan Park. This picture is not taken very long ago. It's about 1935. So we already had everything. And about a year ago, I'm always a great fan of the city. I had about 300, 400 pictures of the city which I had collected over 20 years. And I couldn't find any more. So we started a Facebook group called Bangalore Photos from a Bygone Age. And in 1 year, we have 10,800 members. And now the number of pictures in the group have gone to 3,000 pictures. It's like an incredible history of the city going back to almost 150 years, collected by crowdsourcing. Every day we get about 30 people, one classroom or one bus joining the group every single day. And it's growing bigger and bigger. These are special photographs. You would have nobody has ever seen them. You are the first audience to ever see these rare pictures. So I want to talk about something about the landscapes of change. So this is what Bangalore looked like in 1975. Can you see the amount of lakes in Bangalore? There were about 300 plus within the city. This is what the city looked like. And you can recognize one of them. You know, the big lake in the bottom is Bellandur tank on the bottom right. Today, you know what happened? Only that much exists. Can you see the drama there? It's only about 80 of them are left, and most of them, they're also gasping for breath. Look at that, look at that. It's gone. The city has lost its touch with its water heritage, it's lost touch with its past, it's lost touch with what is important. And I don't know whether any of you can recognize this picture. It's Hosur Road. Can you believe it? 1940. And please note that electric pole standing there, right behind this is a fold in the paper, I'm sorry, but behind that there's an electric pole. And you see all these trees and this quiet little guy coming home on Hosur Road. And now it looks like this. And if you notice, the electric pole is still in the same place. And the shape of the trees is now the shape of the flyover. Can you see that? It's like an astonishing photograph. See the shape of the tree is now the concrete tree has come. So, and the Jhatkakadi is somewhere inside that middle still, I think, poor guy, you know. And in the 90s, suddenly we lost touch with our old heritage, and we came up with some crazy looking buildings like this. And do you know where the Kemp comes from? It's from Kempegowda. And look, imagine what he would have done if he had seen this. No? Think about it. So, I don't know how many of you know the word tabula rasa. It just means clean slate. It's Latin